Hello everyone, welcome to another live stream. Today I want to work a little bit more on our VR game, Mamma Mia Pizzeria. It's a little VR game, building Wonderland, and you have to run a pizzeria. Now the game is still in its early stages, so we're not having too much to be able to do. Oh, there's still another test object in here, the yellow one. But this runs in VR. We have hands, we have pizza. So the idea is you have to prepare pizzas. In the end, someone will enter the door. Now the room or the pizzeria has to be finished. But yeah, someone will come into the door, order a pizza. You have to make it and sell it. And that way you have to make money and expand whatever you do. Buy more ingredients, maybe expand your whole restaurant. Buy a bigger oven. This oven is pretty small, it turned out. I modeled this after a real construction plan I found, but the opening is pretty small. If you look at the size of one pizza, this is, I think it's 35 centimeters or something. Which is about the size of a normal pizza, I guess. But it's hard to fit into the opening. So we probably need to fix that. Let me show this in VR. If I can get it to work. Let's see. We go. Have to refresh. It's running locally on my machine. Here's the game running in VR. We have hands. The hands. Oh, there's still an old test ball. So there's a grabber on the edge. So if we grab this, grab it, we can throw it. Now this rolls off. We have this. Oh. And that's something I still need to implement. What I want is that if it falls, it switches back to its original position for some objects. Others might just disappear. You can throw this away. You can actually throw it and catch it. But yeah, the funny thing is I made it so that it snaps to that certain point. Pointing, but I cannot point with his hands yet. At a certain point. Now the orange stuff, the pink stuff is just debugging. That's for the physics engine. Throw it in there. So it snaps to it. I'm building my own hand engine. But today I want to start working on the pizza. And work on some code, think out some concepts, how we can go from this pizza to that pizza to that pizza. Now, the only thing that's different between these three is the middle texture. So it's basically a ring with a texture in the center. And what I've been thinking of doing is adding textures on top of each other. So you have to add tomato sauce to the pizza. If you add tomato sauce, you add that texture. And it will be transparent or something. And we just generate a new texture for that specific pizza. Then you add cheese to it, and you go to the next one. If you add cheese from the start, the order is different and the pizza doesn't look okay. And then we can just keep track of what you did. And if you did it correctly, if you just screw up the pizza, if you did put it in the oven too long, then it will be burned. And we have to make some difficulty. I'm not entirely sure what the difficulty will be. But the faster you do it, the more money you will make, the faster you will expand your pizzeria. Now every certain time maybe, stuff runs out and you have to buy new. You have to buy new tomato sauce, new cheese. There will be pepperoni and all kinds of different things you can add on pizzas later on. I hope. But today I want to start working on this pizza class. Now let me grab one little... No, that's not what I need. I'm using Pixel Edit. For my pizza stuff. So right now, there is some sketches in here. There are only 2 textures in here. And I've been experimenting with this. This is the base one. And I think we're just going to delete it and make it transparent. And then I think this one is too white for cheese. Now the cheese on a pizza is pretty white, but I don't think it looks good. So we add some cheese and it will be added to the red. And then that way we can just generate a texture. Now the number of pizzas will be limited. The number of pizzas that are in one scene. So we probably can create a pool of pizzas. Because Wonderland does not have a prefab thing like Unity has. Let's see. Interesting. That visualization that was there should have been disabled. That's that sphere, and this is the in the other hand. Now I can... So these are the hands, but these are just the models of the hands. I actually recorded the grabbing the shape of my hand with some code. And I can apply it back to the hand. So I created a... on the hands, I think. It's a hand poser. You can give it a hand pose. Neutral is a normal one and grab is the close one. But we can add more poses if we want to. So for example, if you want to have cheese, you have to hold your hand like there's cheese on top of it. And if you grab cheese, it will be that hand that is shown. Anyway, we're going to create a pizza component. As a start. Now I think this is going to be a game component and not... It's going to be pretty special and specific. So let's make a folder components. There will be more things in game than just components. I've separated these off, these components as well for the interactions, but I want to move these to its own project eventually. Let's add a new file and call this, let's call it pizza component. .js. I've got some code snippets right here. And I love this. It takes the name of the file as the name of the type, and it creates the name of the class I want it. And we need to load it, so we go to index and we need to register this. So we do WL register component and we say pizza component. Now I've got all kinds of extensions going, so it automatically resolves the component and imports it. And when saving, it automatically reloads Wonderland, so we should have a pizza component here. Now this pizza has 2 meshes, but we're going to change this whole pizza thing, I think. Because the meshes should be lower. There will be a couple of different states. I need to model those, but when you start making a pizza, you don't get this pizza shape. You have to work to get the shape. Now I've looked at some videos. There are different techniques. I'm not really a cook myself. If I do anything with food that needs to be heated, it always burns, no matter what. But I've seen some videos on how to make pizzas, and the most fun way is to throw the pizza dough in the air. If I can think of a way to invent pizza physics, I might just do that in the game, but I've seen techniques as well where you put a lump of dough on a bench and then just start pressing it a couple of times until you have the shape of the pizza. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to either create an animation of a lump. Is that how you pronounce it? How it's called? A lump of dough? Piece of dough. And then you press it a couple of times, and every time you press it, the animation goes a little bit further until it's this shape. Maybe something like that. Or we just have 3, 4, 5 different meshes that are just doing a dough thing. I wonder what I should do with these. Do I need these as a reference? No, the material is going to change. I'm going to keep them in, but I'm going to put them aside. I think that's let's rename this to pizza examples. Let's move them to there, and now I can just move the pizza examples to the other side. Now they're over on that side of the room. And let's delete this mesh. It was just to see if you can still grab things without the snap point. Sauce ladle. I want to change this as well. It's one thing, but it has a grab point, and it snaps to this grab point, and it's rotated a bit as well, which means the ladle, the sauce ladle, will just snap to your hand. So let's create a new pizza, and I think we're just going to create a whole new component on the root, and let's call this pizza pool. Since we will have a couple of pizzas and then we move them out of the pool will be somewhere outside of the view, maybe below the floor or up in the sky, like a kilometer high or something. And then you need one in-game. And then when you, maybe even as soon as you put it in a box, it's not visible anymore. You put it in the pizza box, you close the lid of the box, and then the pizza can go back to the pool. Or if you sell it, it can go back to the pool. For now, just add one. Let's add one to the pool so we can fix that. Let's do an empty. Call this pizza. And this pizza is going to get the pizza component, which has nothing on it yet, but it will be. We'll have. And below this will be the a mesh. And this cylinder is actually the pizza. And eventually this will have 2 states as well. It will have a it's a pizza dough state, but it will have a cooked state as well. So there is this base color, and I think we can just create a new base color that we put here of a cooked pizza. By the way, all of these will have 2 states as well. So all of these textures will have a not cooked and a cooked state. So that way, when you do some pepperoni on the pizza, you will have a not cooked state and a cooked pepperoni state or something. I think we can figure that out. So we need to create 2 textures. Now, I don't expect this to be done today, by the way. We're hoping we can finish this. I'm going to add another mesh object to... Or should we keep this separated? I think it will be easier to keep them separated. Although we could just check. No, we can just... pizza border. Let's do it in 2. It doesn't matter, really. But we can just reference these by name. Pizza center. And there was a mesh. This one is the center. And I'm going to drop the... Is it... You can search here, but I don't know what I named it. Pizza center. Now, for now, I'm going to... move the pool right here so we can see it. Now, to interact with the pizza, it needs to have a collider as well. Now, I like to just put colliders in their own child objects. That way I can scale them, move them around, and have control of them. So the root, if you want to move the collider to a certain position, and it's on the root of the object, you cannot move it around. If you want to change anything of that object, it's way easier to have it as a child. So we'll call this pizza collision. So then if we need to reference it somehow, we probably need to reference it from the pizza component. We can just drag it in and then we see by the name what it is. Or if we get an error, say something is going wrong and we get an error in the console, it's way easier to know that it's the pizza collision that is broken instead of something else. Now, it helps if we turn on the collision shapes. And I don't know why I don't see it. Oh, I know why I don't see it. It's too big. So it's a radius of 1. And 1 means 1 meter. And it's not a diameter, it's a radius. So this sphere is actually 2 meters across. Which is way too big. I wonder, can we do this? No. So I need to send this as a suggestion to the makers of Wonderland. I would love to be able to do this. Just divide by 2. So we don't have to math on stream. Now we can do this. Now if we want to put like sauce on the pizza, we have to move the ladle with the sauce in this and then release. Or just move it in there. If we want to drop something, we need to drop it from within here. Now, if you look at this side, it's also below. I don't like that. We can also use an AABB. which is a box. Now the downside of this box, but the pizza is round, so I don't think it's really it matters. We cannot rotate this. Try, it just stays the same. We can do a box as well, but the box is really not optimized. So we can do an AABB. Now the thing is, we can move this up. Now I think this might be too big. It's way bigger than the pizza. If this is 17.5, it should be the same as the diameter of the pizza, right? It doesn't really matter. I think I'm going to with this. If you hold your stuff in here, and if you drop it in here, it's going to go on the pizza. And maybe we need a snap target as well for this. But the thing is, because I added it as a separate component, as a separate object in the hierarchy, I can move this around. So I can just go and move this up. Oh, the pizza is floating a bit. Well, let's... doesn't really matter in this case. There we go. Might look a bit better. So now, if we do something within this box, it snaps to the pizza. Target is right there at the bottom, so that's cool as well. Now, I don't think we actually going to snap to the pizza, but the target we have is something we can use there. So we have a snap target, which is, we can be both the collision and the Now the funny thing is, the snap target also has events. So when we drop something in here, we know it's in here. And it can be the sauce, although we're not going to actually drop the sauce, so we need to have special thing for the sauce. We also need, we need to have a description of the ingredients anyway. We're first going to test the sauce. If we move the letter with the sauce inside this, I want to know. And I'm going to change this texture. If we can get that to work, we have a start. I think that should be the goal for today. So we need to have a texture in here, material, and then we can switch the material here to sauce if we move in here. Now, we first need a reference to the snap zone. There are two ways of doing that, just looking up the component or have a reference from pizza component to snap zone. I like the second thing. Now, it will have a reference to itself. But if we would move the snap zone to another object, for example to the collision, we could do that. Then we might need to have a reference to the PC component as well. So let's add that. Let's add a parameter to the pizza component. Now, again, I love my code snippets. If you are wondering if you're working with Wonderland, this is I released the snippets as a extension for VS Code. So just search for Wonderland snippets or something in the store, and you can just use these snippets that I'm using as well. It just saves a lot of time. So for now, let's call this sauce. No, snap zone. We're going to snap zone. I'm going to call the snap zone object. Because that's what I'm referencing. We don't need the init method. So when we start, I'm going to... It's funny, this is Copilot that is helping out, and it's pretty darn close, actually. I'm going to let this... No. don't know, we do it differently. Doing snap zone. This something is null. Making it null, so I know I've set it to null. It's not that I'm coming from somewhere where it's undefined. If it's null, I know I did it. That's why I like to use null in JavaScript as well. And yes, this is not TypeScript, this is JavaScript. What I also like to do, that helps a lot, is specifying the types of things. This with a little bit of documentation. So I know this is a snap zone. And the funny thing is, it says snap zone now. But what I can do is just say snap zone is get component. Now this is not correct. This is snap zone. But this still is a snap zone. Which means I have real IntelliSense on this. And this is pretty cool. Now, we're going to listen to events. And those are not in here. So that's a bummer. But it doesn't really matter. We can look them up. But we have IntelliSense this way. And we can also just add a description here. So we actually document our code a little bit. So say snap zone of the pizza to drop toppings in. So now whenever we see snap zone, we can just hover over it and we see, it's type snap zone and it's a snap zone of the pizza. This really helps. There is a chance we forget this. So if we want to be defensive, say if we don't have, we can also give it as a default. But I think the default is null anyway. If we don't have a snap zone, we so say console error no snap zone object set for pizza component. So then we kind of know what's happening. Let's go back to Wonderland. Now we have this snap zone here. We can drop this in there. Snap zone object is pizza, and it will read the snap zone object from that object. Now, if we would move snap zone to the pizza collision, which actually might be a good idea. Now it's in here. I love this. Now this is incorrect. There was no object here. So now we can just drag this in here. Now we have the snap zone set. Let's quickly have a look at the snap zone. Because we have set it up correctly, we can just go here. Oh, actually, I did write the documentation like I should. So snap zone, it has events. Snapped, which is when an object is actually dropped into the thing. Where we enter the snap zone or where we leave the snap zone. Now with the toppings, I wonder if I really want to snap things. Which might work for cheese, but for the sauce it doesn't. It doesn't make sense to drop the entire spoon on the pizza. Now we can add a property to the topping. Which might become handy in the future as well. If we want to have, I don't know, a garlic sauce or hot sauce on the pizza. We might need to just hold things just above the pizza, and that's it. So let's just start by handling the entered snap zone event. This Snap zone. I thought we could do add event listener. I think this should be working. Because it's an event emitter component. As listener. Oh, it's on. I made it better. There we go, on. Listener is a function. And I think it has the object. But I'm not sure. Now we can quickly test this. And I think we can actually test this inside a normal browser. So we can look around a bit. Now I have some debug information turned on so we can see the collisions and the physics. And there's one hand here. I don't know where the other hand is. I think I disabled some features to for debugging purposes. But if we go to F12, we have the debug tools. And I have the WebXR test tool thing. This is a pretty new one. I think it's been in development for a while. And this is the one that Meta released. I was using the other one, the other emulator for a long time. But what I really like about this one is that it has way more information on the different buttons, which makes debugging a bit better. Now, as you can see, if it's too small, I cannot even move this up. Oh, I can. There's not enough vertical space. I would love to see this different. Maybe if it doesn't have enough space, just hide this part. 9 out of 10 times, you just want to see this, and this can be hidden. Could we just be minimized or something? On the other hand, it's open source. Maybe we should add, just add it. So this won't happen. If you have this part is hidden. And then when you want to open it, just not enough vertical space. It's just only written in this bar or something. I don't know. Anyway, now we have this open, we can switch to VR. Now we still see the hands. And that's correct, because these are the hands. Now we can rotate this around. I really feel the hands are flipped for some reason. Is that correct? Is this the other hand? Yes. The hand should be like this. Maybe I screwed up the default pose. And we can just trigger. I do wonder why it's not working. Oh, it's grabbing here. But it's not a joystick you're grabbing. And lock it. Okay, but we need to have that going on. So let's move the headset down until we can see what we're doing. Let's move this hand down. We can see what we're doing. Oh, that's way too far there. I think this is the correct location. Let's move the headset back a little bit. Okay. So now we should be able to grab this and move it in here. And then we hopefully see that we've entered. I wonder, does it trigger the hand? It doesn't trigger the hand. What if we grab this? So let's... We have it now? It's not triggering. Is it in there? I wonder why the snap zone is not triggering. Do I need to let it go, maybe? This is the snap zone as well. So let's just see why this snap zone is not working. Maybe I screwed it up. It has a collision snap zone. These are just two different things. Collision. A snap target. This doesn't have a snap target, but should we just beat this, I guess? It's odd that it doesn't trigger. Is my test script in here? I had a test script. Snap zone unsnapped. I actually tested it with the material change. This snap zone, which is this, we didn't get the error, so there is a snap zone defined. On enter snap zone. Did I copy it wrong? Enter snap zone. Don't have this. We should see entered snap zone. Maybe. It just doesn't work here. Oh. What? So the height, that's a weird thing. The height sometimes goes weird. Let's test it in VR and see what's happening. Maybe it only works in VR. I don't know. Could be an issue with the emulator. Let's check it out in VR. Yes. You can see what I'm seeing. Oh, the left controller battery is low. See, I was afraid it would happen. So sometimes it gets stuck. I'm not sure why. Oh, it doesn't this time. Sometimes it does. It gets stuck. Now we are way up in the air here. Now we're close enough. Okay, we do this. And we just drop it in there. Now it doesn't snap. So when I take it and I drop it, there, it snaps. But it should snap here as well. I don't get why. Let's check the code here. Can't admit, no listener registered for event snapped. Interesting. I didn't know that could be an error. No listener for entered snap zone. Huh. It has. Interesting. Interesting. It has a snap zone here. Let me think. Why is it working right here? This snap zone on blah blah blah. But it is not working here. Let's quickly place a breakpoint. Sources, so we can just go. Need to look for the pizza component and just place a breakpoint right there. So now, if it's set up, we can see what's in here. Maybe I made a typo or something. It'll be the first. Type snap zone. Prototype. Prototype. On. On emit. Yes. So snap to object start update are in those prototypes. And there are some things here as well. Well, it should have an on. And we don't get an error here. If there was no on method, we should get an error. Right? Now we are floating in the sky again. We do get some warnings here, but the great thing about warnings is they can be ignored most of the time. There's the hand. Hand is too far away. Hand is close enough. We lock the press. And we move the source sauce over here. Now, and this should be it should be in there. Then why? Why isn't it triggering? Let's have a look at the snap zone. Maybe the snap zone is wrong. That's interactions, snap zone. So we query the collisions if they would overlap. Now we immediately go into this breakpoint, so we know and we say, well, there is a collision here. And this object has a name, which is called collision. So we have a collision in the snap zone with a thing called collision. But the ladle doesn't have... Oh! Yeah. What? If it's triggering from the hand and not from... Let's move it up and slightly over. It's weird. We should have 2 collisions. Also, it's it's weird that it's sometimes showing the shapes and sometimes it doesn't. Now we should be able to turn these on and off live. Probably not when we're at breakpoint. So now it's screwing with us. We're in the closet. But now if I do this and I would turn these off, right? And we'll turn them on again. Oh wait. Reloading. Oh, we're staying in the same position. That's nice. Visualize colliders. Do they turn on now? Yes. No. Where? I think they're inverted now. No. How do I turn them on? Oh. They go on right away and then they disappear again because they refresh. We can disable the refresh, but I like that. Anyway, then we do it without. Let's move this closer here. Let's grab. Let's move up quite a bit. Are we above the pizza now? Let's add that breakpoint again for collisions. So this, if the collision's length is larger than 0, we snap to, otherwise we check was there an object and we go left. So we should never get in here until we actually have something that entered the snap zone. Now let's try and move this down slowly. Okay, so now we hit it. But I think we should have already hit it before because the hand is too high. I think, although it could be that this is the... Oh. No, it says collision. So we just hit the hand collision. It doesn't trigger on the... Pizza collision. Query overlaps. Now we can actually filter these. Maybe we need to do that. Maybe we need to filter that we don't snap the hands. And since we only have a few objects, that might be doable right now. If we do that later, it might be hell. So we have these groups. I think we can use that to not snap this to this. Not have the hand. Although, oh, this is not the hand. The hands are up there. These spheres are the hands. And we can filter those. So we can say... this collision. But we need to document this, otherwise we will get completely weird. So what if everything we can pick is 1, and we only check collisions on the one group on things we can pick up, right? So the hands as a collision, and this will have only 1. This means this hand can only collide with other things in the 1 group. Right? So the hands are in the 1 group. But these collisions are not in the 1 group. The snap targets are in the 2 group. And I want the collision of the sauce also be in the 2 group. Now, the ladle is going to be in the 1 and the 2 group. So this collider is checking collisions with 1 and 2. And the hands are only checking with 1. Although, that's how it's supposed to work. Now, I think I need to remember how that worked. Because we have the snap zone, we have the query overlaps. Was it a parameter? Module exports. Let's quickly check the docs. You know what would be really cool? Why is my intelligence gone all of a sudden? Quickly check if I did it. No, not in here. Let's go to wonderlandengine.com. JavaScript API, query overlap, collision component. So it has this group. It doesn't say anything. Does it work out of the box? That's the question. Could be. I forgot. I could check other games. Oh, I know. We can just check the component's GitHub. Let's do a quick search on Wonderland components. It's already in here. And is there anything on query overlaps here? The finger cursor, but it doesn't test. If target. Too bad. Let me just do something else. This is my Christmas game, and this is something I used before. Maybe it's in here. No, I never filter on the. I never filter on these. Is there? There's no code here. It's cool that it knows what this is. Because I didn't describe what it is. At type collision that one. So maybe now we have a little bit more. Query overlaps collision. It has the documentation here as well. Collision group, the bit mask compared to other group. I think it just works. That group. Or is it only with raycasts? If not, we can just compare them by hand. If nothing else. Let's just see if this works now. I need to refresh this. Oh, it refreshed already, but we are still in the same position. That's cool. Let's see if we can quickly grab this. Nothing seems to be happening here. We don't get any collisions. Weird, why don't we get any collisions? Now, it's ignoring the hand, that's cool. Quickly. Wait. No, it has a collider. Now it refreshed, now it's reset to here. But it had a collider. But for some reason, this collider... Is it because it has a physics as well? It's the only difference. It has a collider and physics. And this is a box and not a sphere. Could that be the case? So what if we just test this with a ABB box? It's a weird shape, but close enough. Yes. Aha. Objects. Name. Source level. Uh-huh. Interesting. So it was a type of collider that didn't work. But it didn't work here. It did work on this one. Oh well, it doesn't really matter. We need to move things around a little bit, but we can work with this. So now we know enter snap zone. So it was actually working, but now if we want to test this, we need to move it. Oh, I already did it. And now we are back in the snap zone. Now I wonder, do we have arguments? Arguments. You could do arguments in a function, right? Because I want to know what entered. I need to know what entered the pizza component snap zone. But I think when I emit enter snap zone, I do the grabbable with it. So there is a parameter with the grabbable. So this object can I do enter object name? Oh, we need to add a $sign in front of it. Okay. I love that it automatically refreshes. Need to let this to not be moved. There we go. Grab it. Move it. Snap zone undefined. Maybe it's not just name, but it's in the details or something. Or two objects are. Let's do the old breakpoint thing again. There we go. WebXR. Move this outside and back in. See? Oh, this has it doesn't have a name because it's the grabbable that's in here. Okay. Are we getting somewhere? So it's actually not an object, it's the grabbable. And grabbable, we can say objects. That's the object where the grabbable component is on. But name. So if we do this, we should have the name of the object that's in here. No, not in this window. Let's do it here. Let's continue. It refreshes, so the hand is out. We can go there. Grab it. Move it back in. We go here. And I think I made a typo because this is object with a lowercase o. Save. Go back to the browser. Continue. Wait for the refresh. WebXR. Grab the hand. Here we go. Well, just let it continue. And the snap zone, source level. Okay. Cool. To get this to work, I think we need a second component. New file. Let's call this the topping component.js. And let's go back here. Now go to the source level. Oh, we need to register it first. I think there is a change going to be in the engine where we can automatically register things. which could be really cool. Topping component. That would. So I have been trying to figure out a way of doing the imports with an index. So you have an index, for example, in this folder, and then you can just automatically import everything from there. It doesn't work with folders. So maybe JavaScript should do something with that. Although, you don't want to import everything. In this case, it's only the components you want to import. How is the stream holding? It does work. That's cool. I've been trying to do a lot of streams the couple of weeks, but I couldn't get OBS to behave. Actually stream. So let's just give this a material. And this is the topping uncooked. Okay. Let's go back to Wonderland. Let's add a topping component. We have the material property here, and we're just going to do the pizza topping tomato. Let's go back to the pizza component here. Wait, let's do it WL as measure thing. Yes. So this is the center mesh. Now we can do two things. Well, first make sure we set this to the right object. So we have this pizza here with the pizza component. We take the center and we drop it in here. Why isn't... Oh, that's not the right thing. No. This needs to be an object so we can reference the quote-unquote instance. I'm gonna do the same here. If not, write an error. Let's keep it together. Let's add a center mesh is null, so we know it's not defined, but we set it up. And this is the type mesh component. I think this is it. Doesn't load it, but there should be a mesh. Yeah, it's the mesh component. This is the mesh component. So now we can say this, the center mesh, mesh. I think it's component. I think. We can check, maybe. Let's quickly check in the test. I think I did it in the test as well. Oh, it's just mesh. Okay, whatever. It's confusing because the collision is collision component, I think. Oh well. So now we have the center mesh. And we can say, do we need to keep track of the original material? Well, maybe not. Okay, if we get here, we get a grabbable and an object. We can say object get component. And in this case, I want to have the topping component. Let topping. Now, if we have a topping, if we don't have a topping, let's say else. Oh well, if you just move something, say you would move one pizza over another. We can just ignore it. We just enter it. It doesn't have a topping component, so we just ignore it. Now we have a topping component. Now it is. We can tell this. It's cool that you can just do this right here as well. This is a topping component. Topping component. And this way, we know this is a topping component. And we know this has a property, although we didn't define it. Also, the way this is set up, this is a static property of topping component. You don't see it in the instance, but you can exit it. So this doesn't make any sense now. Don't need it. On the other hand, we can just create a function for it. Get topping uncooked. We don't need it. Material is topping uncooked. Now, when we enter the snap zone, and we can add a property on the topping if it should be dropped or not. Maybe we can add it in a second. So if you drop the ladle on top of it, nothing happens. But if you hold it, it works. Topping uncooked type material. Set that up. Let's test it out. I'm not sure what's going on right now. We got a lot of errors and stuff going on. No pizza center object pizza component. Did I not set the center? I did not. Okay. Go here. Grab this. Move it inside. Boom! There we go. I need to fix this. I'm not sure how I can check this. I just say emit. Let's quickly look at that. So this is inheriting from event emitter component. I think we need to check if it has listeners. Well, we do. Oh, we're not in the emit. Probably. Well, we do. Yeah, we check. Oh. This is the warning. Okay. It's my code that did the warning. Well, actually, I copied it. I think. I'm not sure how much of it I really wrote. Or just add. Maybe it was just ChatGPT that did this. That's not true. It probably was Bing. I'm a big fan of the Bing thing. Especially for code. Oh, this is so cool. Okay. Oh, so now we have this working. So now we can grab the ladle, hold it on top. Now I want to make it so that you can choose if it needs to be dropped or not. Needs to be dropped. And this is type bool. Default is true or false. Well, true. Let's make true. So if it needs to be dropped, if topping and topping needs to be dropped and not needs to be dropped, Then we do this. Now, the trick is, if it needs to be dropped, we need to remove it as well from the scene. And it's not entered snap zone. What's the other event? Snapped. So if it's snapped, that means you let it go. And it needs to be dropped. But then also, I love AI. I think this is correct. Now we can test this only once. So let's grab this, lock it. Again, and now nothing is happening. But if I let go, it's on there. Ah, it just works. That is so cool. Okay. Oh, wait. Wonderland, come here. So now let's go in here and say it needs to be dropped false. Let's go back to the browser. We go back right here. Grab it. Move it. Let's move it up. And over. I think this is over. If I let go, I drop it. It should not trigger. Ah, it does. But it still enters. It still enters. Oh wait, grabbable. I think we can check the grabbable. This has grab by. If this is null, it is dropped. So you want to know if it's being held. If you just drop it, it just falls on top of the pizza and doesn't do anything. If it needs to be held and you drop it, it should not trigger. So, and grabbable dot is being held. So if it enters a snap zone and it's being held, at that point, it should register. Let's move this out of the way so we can have a little bit of a bigger thing here. Let's move this hand down. Let's move this hand over here somewhere. Grab it. Move the hand up. And over here. I think it's over the pizza. And drop it. Now it falls way over there. That was weird. It probably has something to do with the way the snapping works. Now I'm holding it, but I'm still in the snap zone. So I need to move out of the snap zone and then back into the snap zone. Yeah. And maybe we need to make the snap zone a bit smaller. This is a pretty big... You need to put the stuff on the pizza, right? If it needs to be dropped, it doesn't matter. If it drops and falls into the pizza, it's fine. But if you just drop it when it should not be in there, you should hold it pretty low, I think. So this pizza collision could be a little... Oh. 0.05. And this is the reason I want to do it like this, because now I can move this down. Now I need to move it inside this, and then it triggers. Now the letter is also I want to have only this part better, which is the center point. So if it just happens to be that, great. 0.05. 0.05. So now it's really this. If you hold this close to there, which you want to do, then it should trigger. And if you drop it, it shouldn't. Now, to really test this, let's do it in VR. I'm still here. Just switching to VR. We go. Exciting stuff. It refreshed already, I think. Oh, there we go. Hello? Did it get stuck? Quickly reload. There we go. Exciting. Let's grab it. Oh. Let's put this over there. Oh. It worked. Now you eventually need to pick it there, and if you drop it, it needs to go back, but this thing is still there. Anyway, we have a pizza with tomato sauce. We have the start of the thing. It took an hour and a half to build, but we do have the start of the thing. That is so cool. So, with that, I'm going to end the live stream. And I think it went well for a first live stream. That was hopefully the test. I'm not sure if everything worked as it should. I'm going to review the live stream as well. But we can say this one is done. We have a base class for toppings. We can update the texture based... Well, we need to fine-tune it. Yeah, and this is going to change. I was thinking this might be different, but I think we only need the base class for the toppings. That's cool. Well, thank you for watching. And I will catch you on the live stream, next live stream. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And I will see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.